Hi, this is Chris Dela Cruz and
Michael Dela Cruz.
And we're Expanded Awareness. Today we have a very special guest that I've adored for years, secretly. Okay, it's Raymon Grace.
Hi, Raymon.
Hi, Raymon.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation to come talk to you folks today.
We're so glad you accepted and took your evening out for us.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. It's an honor. A lot of people in our audience are actually looking forward to this, so it's so cool that we're making it happen. So what do you got for Raymon today, babe?
Okay, so first we're going to introduce him. Raymon Grace is a founder and president of the Raymon Grace Foundation. He's a dowser, a lecturer, and author of 3 books. The future is yours. Do something about it.
Yes.
Techniques that worked for me. Seasons of April.
He has created over 70 DVDs, which we own some of them.
Most of them.
Sharing information learned over the past 40 years.
His books have been printed in English, Italian, Spanish, and Chinese.
Wow. Also, his work is being used in several countries for improving water and other areas of self-improvement.
His videos have reached over 142 countries.
He has been a guest on numerous radio talk shows, including the well-known Coast to Coast AM radio.
He has been recognized by the Virginia Senate for his work.
He's a down-to-earth, plain-spoken person who tells as he sees it. We notice that.
I love that. He's very down-to-earth. A fun fact, he dresses in his clothes and jeans and cowboy boots, and he doesn't own a suit or tie, and he's real.
I like it.
Okay, so Raymon, can you tell us about your journey into understanding the mind?
Well, I can try, so you feel free to ask me questions and we'll see what happens.
Sure.
Okay, I was basically a construction foreman for about 35 years. I used to build shopping centers.
Oh.
And I realized that the world was no better off because we were paving over 40-some acres of land, putting a building on it for people to spend money they didn't have, at prices they couldn't afford, to buy things they didn't need. And I realized that Earth was no better off because I was doing this. I mean, it was an honest way to make a living. I had a construction crew. I was helping other people make a living, but we weren't really accomplishing anything on a large goal. All we had was a decent job. So I set a goal to do something else. And having no formal or higher education, I didn't really know what I was going to do. So I had, along about that time, met a fellow by the name of Jose Silva, who was the founder of Silva Mind Control.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided that I could teach what he was teaching. I would have to teach it somewhat simpler, but I could do it. So to make the long story very condensed, I became a lecturer for the Silva Method of Mind Control for about 5 years. That was back from 1990 to 95.
Okay.
Well, during that time, I also became interested in shamanism.
Huh.
So I got involved in that to a degree. And then I discovered dowsing.
How?
And it really impressed me because I could tell these people really had a talent that was a real asset. The problem was they weren't using it to its fullest extent. So it took me a long time to learn dowsing. Actually, most things in my life took a long time. Very few things ever came easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
So once I learned how to dowse, I've combined the best and the simplest of some of the things that Jose Silva taught, and I'm put it in my own words. And I tell people, watermelon is the biggest word I know, so I said it's very simple. And then I incorporated dowsing and a bit of shamanism. Because what I found was that a lot of the shamanism and a lot of what Jose Silva taught was the same thing. They just used different words. But the similarities were quite similar, really. So I put everything in my own words with my hillbilly accent and started teaching classes. So the word got out, then I found out that we could make videos, and so I'd never had any experience at all at filming. So I thought, well, I can do that. And long about that time, I was getting invited to speak at various dowsing conferences across America, and in Italy, and also I've spoken for the Australians. Now, what I do when I get an invitation, if it's very far away, I simply make a film. That's what I did for the Italians. So what I do, my brother is a professional photographer, so he makes the film, and I buy him a plane ticket and say hi to the Italians for me, so I don't have to go.
Well, that's how we met you.
And then what we did, they had to, I don't remember what town it was over there, but it doesn't really matter. When they play the film, then I get on either Skype or Zoom with them, answer their questions, and then I have them all have a bottle of water. So I energize the water for everyone and have them taste it to make sure we've actually done it. So that's the way we do business.
Can you explain to us what it is, energizing water?
Well, it's something I got into about 35 years ago when my kid April was about 3 years old. And I had read that only 2% of the water on this planet was fit to drink. And I'm thinking, okay,
2%.
What's it going to be like in another 30, 40 years? It's not going to get any better because we're very limited with the supply of good quality water now. And every day people are watering lawns, filling swimming pools, washing the car, flushing toilets. So it's a trend that didn't seem like could continue indefinitely. So I think, well, is my kid and her kids, my descendants, even going to have decent drinking water? So I've got to learn how to do something. Well, I don't know exactly how I did it, but I learned how to change the quality of water apparently at any distance on the planet. Now, I'd like to share some stories with you that would hopefully explain this. When I'm doing a Skype session with someone or a Zoom session, and they're in some large city, living probably in a high-rise apartment, I know that these people don't have good water because it comes through the pipe, it's been filtered, and chemicals put in it, and it's just not fit to drink. So I always ask them, while I can look at them on the screen, do you have any good water to drink? And they always say, no, this water coming through our pipe here is city water, it's not any good. I said, well, I'd like to do an experiment with you. What I'd like to do is you go to the kitchen, turn the faucet on, let the water run for 10 seconds, then get a half glass of water. You come back, sit in front of the camera so I can see you. When they sit down, I said, now take a sip of your water. It is a real rewarding thing to watch their face just light up. They say, this water's delicious. I said, yeah, that was the plan. I've done that in Australia. I've done it all over America. I've done it in Canada. I've done it in Europe. Actually, I did it in India.
India?
Only one time, I think, because I only had one contact in India. But what I'm saying is, when we refer to energy work, distance is not a factor. There's no other way to say it. It doesn't matter if it's 2 miles down the road or on the other side of the world. You can get instant results, especially if you're energizing water. Now, if you're doing healing work, that may take some time because it's going to vary from person to person. But we'll stick with the water right now. Now, I want to tell a story here that I am assuming to be true based on the information I received. I wasn't there, so I can't say. But being in this business, there's always somebody out there who wants to give you a job without them doing anything. So 15 years ago, I received an email saying, clean up the Ganges. And so I wrote back and said, "Stop dumping dead bodies and raw sewage in it. We'll talk about it." Well, I never heard it. Like I would. I mean, that's my way that I respond to things. You give me a job, I'll give you one back. Okay. So I just think, well, no, I'll never hear from them again, and I didn't. But I made friends with one girl in India that was telling me one day, there's an effort now to clean up the Ganges. I said, really?
Oh, really?
In that case, I'll help. So what I did, and this will sound weird, and was, I'd never seen this happen before. I did an exorcism on the Ganges. I have no idea how many spirits were there, but I would say it was in the millions. Why?
Really?
Because there'd been dead bodies in the river for centuries.
Right.
Oh.
And so I did that. Then I worked on purifying or cleaning up the entire length of the river.
Wow.
I think, well, I got to try. I don't know if it'll work or not, but I'm going to try. Well, the girl I was talking to in India contacts me shortly after that and said her mother went to visit the Ganges and the water was clear.
Wow.
I got another of information from one of my friends in Europe who has a contact in India, and this girl had gone there, cupped her hands, got the water and literally drank it, and it tasted good. Now that's the word I got. I wasn't there. I can't say it's true, but it did come from what I would consider good sources. And that really made my day, because I wasn't sure how much water we could clean up, and I still don't know.
Right.
The next one that I could verify quite a bit was in Perth, Australia. I was doing a Zoom session there with about 65 people, I believe. And I think about 40 of them were from Perth.
Okay.
And they were asking various questions about water. And I said, well, where do you folks get your drinking water? And there was a lake somewhere north of the city. I couldn't even pronounce it. And I started checking it out, and I said, this water is terrible. And the operator of the show, he said, yeah, we know that. Well, why hasn't anybody done anything to clean it up? Well, I guess they didn't know how. The lake, and I'd never run into this before in my life, the lake was literally demonically possessed.
Okay.
And I just said that. And the moderator says, well, there's a lot of pedophilia goes on and demonic worship out there around that lake. Well, no wonder. Energy is expressed on matter. So everything is affected by the actions of people and what all's going on around. Well, I cleaned up the water, and I said, now, I'd like for you folks to do something for me. Send me an email, and I gave them my email address. And let me know how your water tastes. Out of the 40 people that supposedly were from Perth, I got 27 emails thanking me for making the water taste better.
Wow. Oh my gosh, wow.
That's pretty good evidence. Yeah. If you do something and nobody tells you anything, you don't know if you did it or not.
Right.
Or don't know if it's successful. But whenever you get that many responses, thanking you for cleaning the water up, that's believable.
Raymond, is this a skill anybody can learn?
Yeah, can anybody do this?
No, not everybody can learn to ride a bicycle.
Got a point. Okay, so what qualities do people have to learn this?
Probably a belief in themselves.
Okay.
And confidence in the human race is in rather short supply.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That makes total sense. Huh.
Raymond, what else have you done with water?
Well, let me think a moment. The lake there in Australia was the biggest one. I have a energy clearing program that I do for people. You can read a little bit about it on my foundation site, RaymondGraceFoundation.org.
Okay.
That people sign up for me to do a energy clearing for their home and family. And when we first started it, I agreed to do it for $25 a month. That was a little bit less than $1 a day.
Right.
And then I got to thinking, I've got to give the people more than they expect. So instead of doing it once a month, I'll do it once a week.
Wow.
Well, that was about the time COVID broke loose and the world went crazy. And people were getting sick. And I'm thinking, okay, I got to do better than that. I'll do it for them every day.
Okay.
And that's what I do. I'm doing 30 times as much as I promised to do at the same amount of money. So but one of the things I put in there was I will clean up or do my best to clean up the water for you in your home and keep it that way. I've gotten a lot of response from people that their water tastes much better now than it ever did before.
That's
Wow.
amazing. That's wonderful. What a gift. That's really nice.
Well, I always like to give people more than they expect when I can, and you don't ever know if you can or not until you try it to find out.
Right.
So we've got quite a few people around the world that I'm doing my best to keep them and have a good supply of drinking water. And I know the logical mind of most folks would say this is impossible.
Okay.
And for them, it probably is, because they know it can't be done.
Mm-hmm.
You see, the biggest thing I've got going for me is not smarts. It's not knowing I can't do it.
That makes sense.
Like, okay, I learned that from a bumblebee. You see, according to the law of aerodynamics, a bumblebee cannot fly. The body is too heavy and bulky. The wings are too short.
Okay.
So, but the problem is the bumblebee doesn't know this. It doesn't know that it can't fly. Okay. So
it still flies.
All of aerodynamics. So I'm doing basically the same thing. I just don't know. I can't do it. Let me tell you another story.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
This goes back probably 9 years ago. I received a phone call one night from one of my friends. That's a small-time dairy farmer.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I have a problem. I wonder if you could help me. I said, well, I would be glad to if I could. What's the problem? He said, well, there was some weeds in my alfalfa field. And alfalfa is a type of hay, or you probably know that being from Montana. That is what most dairy farmers feed their cows. Okay. So he had noticed some weeds in this field, about 20 acres. And he called the farm supply to come out and spray the field with weed killer. Well, the problem was the truck driver picked up the wrong jug of chemicals and sprayed 20 acres of alfalfa with Roundup.
Roundup? That kills everything, even the dirt.
Yeah, well, this is what happened. I said, how long is it going to take you to clean this up? He said, a year. I've got to plow up the field, sow alfalfa seed, which is expensive.
Yeah.
And it'll be a year before I can cut hay. I said, well, give me 2 days to do something. Don't plow it up yet. Just give me 2 days. I honestly didn't know exactly what I was going to do. Well, I didn't hear from him in 2 days. I didn't hear from him for 30 days.
Wow.
And he sent me a picture of the days that cut alfalfa hay, and it was 4 feet tall. It was the tallest he ever had.
Wow.
What did you do?
Where normally he would get 3 cuttings a year off of that crop of hay, he got 5 cuttings that year. Each cutting bigger than the previous year. So we really doubled his amount of hay that he got off the field that year, off of 20 acres. Well, now how did we do that? We did it because I didn't really understand the situation. Had I understood the situation, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Because I thought that the field had just been sprayed that day. But no, the field had been sprayed a few days earlier, and I did not know this for a year later. He said there was not a living alfalfa plant in the entire field.
Wow.
Now, had I known that, I would have said, I can't help you. But I didn't know. So what I did, I use a terminology called scramble the frequency. It's just something I made up.
Okay.
Because my mind understands it. I scrambled the frequency of Roundup and transformed it into fertilizer.
Did you do this through dowsing?
No, I just did it with my mind.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And I might have used a pendulum on it. I'm not real sure if I did or not. But it was mostly intent. The intent is the key word. People are always asking me, how do you do this? The answer is always the same, intent. So by not knowing that it was impossible, we made it possible.
Yeah.
But if we had known all the facts, we wouldn't have even tried.
Raymond,
So
how much of this is imagination, using your imagination?
Well, one of the philosophers, and I think it was Einstein, said imagination is more important than education. He said because education is the sum total of what we know. Imagination is the sum total of everything, whether we know it or not.
Yeah.
Or words to that effect. So yes, imagination. People ask me, well, how do I become psychic? Use imagination.
Yeah.
And you see, this is how you create a more positive future, a more positive life, is imagine what you want. And Willie Nelson's song, imagine what you want, then get out of the way. Be careful what you ask for, make sure it's really what you want. Because, see, your subconscious mind will not make a decision as to whether your thoughts and wishes are good for you or not. That's why you have to be careful what you focus on. You got to make sure it's what you want. I'm glad Willie made that song, really am, because hopefully he'll reach several million people with it and get them to thinking. Because he reaches a lot more people than I do. So, anyway, all my work, and let me give you the principles of my work. First principle is all things, including beliefs, thoughts, memories, and opinions, are forms of energy. The second part of that is the intelligent human mind has the ability to direct energy. Directing energy is what makes things happen. Principle number 2, energy is impressed upon matter. Thoughts and actions are energy. Our physical body is matter. We are affected by the energy of wherever we put our physical body.
Yeah.
And principle number 3, I borrowed from Einstein, energy follows thought. Everything I do is based on those 3 simple principles.
Wow.
Raymond, what do you enjoy teaching the most? I know you're a teacher too.
I would say self-empowerment. Now, yes, I teach dowsing, but we use dowsing to achieve self-empowerment. Everything I teach, the final goal is self-empowerment. See, humility might not be such a bad thing, but it's been highly overrated. So,
you mean like people acting humble?
Well, yeah, humility's been overrated, or at least in my opinion, it has.
Yeah.
Actually, there's 3 things that have been used to control people, maybe since the dawn of time, but especially the last 2,000 years. Fear, shame, and guilt.
Yeah.
That sounds like religion.
That's exactly what it is.
Sorry.
Not too bomb on religion, but yeah.
But see, I mean, it's a method that works.
Yeah.
And the people that use it know that it works, and they've been using it for a long time. Well, what I do my best to do is wake people up.
Okay.
The folks, you really need to be in control of your own life. There's only 2 things that I really believe in: kindness and freedom.
Yes.
Those are really about the 2 basic things I really believe in. I like being kind to people, and I sure believe in freedom. And that's what I do my best to help people to achieve. I think some people are actually afraid to be free.
Yeah.
But all you can do is give them the information, and then you can't make people do things. You just give them the information and hope they use it.
Yeah.
But as far see, I had someone make a trip with me recently.
Okay.
Down to Florida, and talked with her the other day, and she said, "My life has changed since I made that trip with you." I said, "Well, that was the plan. I wanted your life to change." I find that, she kind of elaborated on it. And I've had this comment made to me a number of times with people I have become friends with, that they said they feel more free now, they have more confidence. Well, that's what I wanted them to have. So I write books on it, I make films about it. My films are really quite blunt. I like to be nice to people, but I just tell everything the way it is. And I find that people like that. At least they tell me they do. And I don't think they would keep coming back to class and sending their friends if they didn't like it.
Right.
And God knows I get more mail than I can answer. So somebody out there must like what we're doing. And that's a good thing.
Well, it's working because we reach out to you because what you're doing, we believe that it works.
Well, it's worked for me for how long? 48 years. I first discovered this in 1973.
Wow.
I think, and I started practicing it, and then I just kept on practicing. I kept learning more and more, and as I learned things, I shared the information with other people. And first I wrote the 3 books, and then it's a whole lot easier to make a video than to just write a book.
Yeah.
So I doubt if I write any more books. It's time consuming, but it doesn't take that long to make a film. So what we did I probably made well over 70 films. I don't know exactly how many. I only sell 6 of them. I gave the rest of them away. They're on Raymon Grace YouTube channel.
Wow.
Not all of them. We put the better ones out there, and some of them I don't even know where they are now. And then sometimes the films I made are outdated. See, energy has been raising for the last 25 years.
Okay.
And I have been measured. And this is kind of a difficult concept for some people to understand. And I'm not saying that I fully understand it, but I have measured the energy raising. That's why we're able to do things now that we couldn't do 15, 20 years ago. Yes. We have more energy to do it with now.
That makes sense.
Probably 20 years ago, I couldn't have cleaned up the water in that lake in Australia. Why? Because there wasn't enough energy, or I didn't have enough to do it with. Actually, the Earth got about a 15 to 20% increase about 4 months ago.
Oh,
because,
wow.
see, I measure energy of people every day. And I'm not going to tell you I have all the answers because I don't. But it's something I have done every day for years. Is I like to know what's going on. And so I want to throw out a little bit of useful information to your audience here.
Yeah.
There are 3 epidemics right now, or what I call energetic epidemics.
Okay.
Now, will everybody understand this? Probably not. And there's not any reason for anybody to write me and ask for any more information because I don't have it. You either understand it or you don't.
Right.
But one of the things that's happening to people is called a fragmented soul. I do not know what causes it. I do know that it's an epidemic. And what will cause a person's energy to drop to 0. All I have to do is do what I call a soul retrieval, bring it back, put it in their body, and the energy will go up every time.
Wow.
Now, I realize that deeply religious people are going to have a problem with this. Well, that's their problem and not mine. All I'm doing is stating, this is what I found. I found ways to correct it. It helps people. Whether anybody likes it or not makes no difference whatsoever to me. I just tell it the way it is, and people can take it or leave it. And if you don't like it, don't bother to write and tell me because I don't care. That's just the way. That's just
Raymond, you're cute. I'm sorry, you're very cute. It makes sense. Very down to earth.
So anyway, the second thing is people's brains are spinning backwards. The brain should have a clockwise spin. Well, when their brains start spinning counterclockwise, they don't have as good a judgment, or they don't make as good of decisions. And a lot of times they actually have trouble expressing themselves in a conversation. I have one friend that I can start talking to her and I can say, well, okay, you got a problem today, just a moment and I'll fix it. And then she will talk totally different and entirely sane. And I mean, I work with this problem practically every day. And another thing is the spirit of love is leaving people's bodies. You wouldn't believe the number of people when you start checking their body, how much love is in their body. They don't have any.
Wow.
So, see, I check a lot of things on people. Why? Because there's just a lot of things that can go wrong. But those are the three epidemics that for the last, I'd say 2, 3, at least 3 years, maybe longer, that have been affecting the larger number of people. The first thing I do when I have a client, I check to see what's their energy level. If it's 0, that's usually the first thing I look for. And that's usually what is wrong. And by the time I get this taken care of, I'll say, okay, how do you feel? Yeah. Well, they feel quite a bit better. I mean, there's an exception now and then that people feel nothing, but most of the time they're going to feel quite a bit better. And I'm just really thankful to be able to share information with people to help them. I wish more people could understand it, but they don't. So I can't really worry about that. You just give people the information and they'll do whatever they can with it.
Right.
Raymond, how much of your day do you spend dowsing?
It depends on the season of the year.
Okay.
June, July, and August, not very much, because that's gardening season. November, December, January, February, March, I've spent sometimes 12, 14 hours a day dowsing.
Can you explain to our audience what dowsing is for people who don't understand?
Yeah, I'll be glad to. I'll hold it up here where you can see it. I use a bullet on a chain for a pendulum. Now, let me explain dowsing before we start.
Go ahead.
All dowsing is the use of a physical object. I use this right here as a pendulum. Yes, it's a bullet on a chain. Some people just would have a stone or a metal object. Right here's another one. Okay, this is a fancy one here. Okay, right here. See, that's one that's rather fancy. I don't even know where that came from. I just found it in my Jeep one day. I thought it belonged to, but said no, she didn't lose one.
Somebody planted it there.
No idea. Maybe the universe just sent me a pendulum. I don't know. But anyway, I just use this, and the forward swing to me and away from me is a yes. If you ask a question, you can ask the question silently, and then if it moves across this way, it's a no.
Okay.
All right. Now, I suggest to people don't ask very many yes or no questions. Why? Because they're insufficient. For example, if you were to ask, is a diet soft drink good for me? You'll get no. If you ask, is rat poison good for me? You'll get no. But it won't tell you the difference between the two.
Okay.
So that's why I tell people, yes and no, use them only very sparingly because you don't get the information you really need.
Okay. So what kind of information can you get? Can you get like where you're going to move to if you're thinking about moving or?
Yeah.
No, because that is a decision you make with your conscious mind.
Okay.
What you do if you want to move somewhere, you ask what is the result of you doing so. How well will you be compatible with the area and the people there?
Right.
Oh, and then you get percentages probably.
Exactly. Yeah, I do everything on a 0 to 100% plus or minus.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I can hold up a chart right here for you to see. I hope. That is my dowsing chart.
I see it.
And got a few too many numbers on it, but basically right here is That's the top which said yes.
Okay.
Around here to 100% positive, and right here it would be 100% on the negative. Now it can go over 100%, but we won't get into that right now. So I even douse. A lot of people get hire me to clean up airports for them before they're traveling anywhere, because most airports have terrible energy. See, as the people that come to take my class, I really try to pound this into their head, folks. This stuff can save your life. You check if you're going somewhere, what's the possibility of danger on this trip. Find out if there is danger. Find out what it is, then you can probably change it and avoid it. Generally speaking, airports are energetic black holes. Why? Because you got people from all over the world. They're not all good people. Some of them are, some of them aren't.
Right.
The energetic black holes are psychiatric wards, maximum security prisons.
Okay.
Those are two of the worst ones right there. And the people that work in those places, their energy level just about stays at zero. Now, I've had people that worked in some really bad places come into class.
Okay.
And I look at them, I can see these people's lives are wrecked. And I just ask them, where do you work? And then I remember one lady down in Texas worked in a psychiatric ward.
Hmm.
And I said, well, ma'am, I'd like to clean that place up for you. I'd like to do you a favor. You put an effort to come here today, to spend your money. I'd like to do something for you. I'd like to clean up the place where you work. I actually had her stand up in front of the room so the people could see the change taking place in her face. It was that strong.
Wow.
You see, let me say this. People have a lot of problems that they don't even know they have, or if they know they have them, they don't know what to do about them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I do my best to do is educate people. This is how you correct problems.
Yes.
It's that simple. And
so if you work in a bad place, Raymond, or you have to go somewhere that's not like a family reunion, that Uncle Joe's really negative, what do you do?
And what do you do? Well, first thing you check to see if anybody's possessed.
Okay.
And it's a fair assumption it probably will be, but not always. It depends kind of on the people.
Okay.
Well, you get rid of the spooks. You depossess them. Call it exorcism, call it whatever you want to call it. You get rid of them. Also, negative emotions play a real big part in people's behavior. Well, negative emotions are simply another form of energy. We have the ability to change it. That's the first principle of the work. Everything is energy, we can change it. So we take all the negative emotions all the people have and turn them into love. Makes me sound like a flower child, but it works. So we do that. And then we may have some people there that have argumentative archetypes or bully archetypes, or whatever archetype is a trait or a characteristic that affects a person's behavior. Mm-hmm. We can take them away from them.
Right.
Give them archetypes of kindness. I mean, the American Society of Dowsers had a rule that I break every day.
Okay.
You cannot do anything to anyone without their permission. And so when I was at their conference and someone told me that, I just looked them in the eye and said, do you people really think that I track down serial rapists and serial killers to get their permission to change their behavior? Are you that naive? So
do they stare at you?
I do what I think needs to be done, and I don't ever apologize for it.
What was their reaction when you told them that?
Kind of an open mouth and deer in the headlights there.
Oh man, that's funny.
We
get it.
I tell people, if you really want to empower yourself, stop saying you're sorry. Kinesiology has shown it weakens your body, so don't do that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I tell people, listen to yourself think, listen to yourself talk, and eliminate the things that aren't good for you. I had a lady in class yesterday who wrote me last night, my pain is almost all gone now. And I wrote back and says, stop saying it's your pain. You're claiming ownership to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's not yours.
Yeah. Yeah, I really pound people over the head with this, that your body listens while your mouth is talking.
Yeah.
Raymond, can we do a water experiment?
We can. What do you want to do?
Our water tastes like pee.
No kidding. Well, let me check it out. I'd be glad to clean it up for you if I can. Do you have a well?
No, we're on city water.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know.
Well, there's absolutely no energy in your water.
Okay. Can we energize it?
Yeah, you just hang on. I want to explain things reasonably well here.
Sure. Okay.
Water has a spirit, but not all water has a spirit. And the reason that city water does not have a spirit is because the spirit of greed is in it. And the spirit of water will not stay where the spirit of greed is. Okay? All right, so first thing we're going to do is banish the spirit of greed. We're going to transform the spirit of greed in that water and turn it into pure water. Can we do this? Sure. All right, next thing. Let's see. The spirit of water is not there. So we got to bring the spirit of water back in. We need to thank it for coming back into the water supply. It flows into your house. All right. Are there any negative emotions in the water? A bunch of them, like 20. Let's transform all of the negative emotions into pure water. No, let's do that into love. We turn greed into pure water. We'll take negative emotion and turn that into love. Okay? All right, now what we're going to do is a mouthful of words, but it goes like this. We're going to scramble the frequency of the chemical, biological, radiological pollutants of the water and adjust it to the frequency of pure water. Now, you may be aware that in Great Falls, Montana, there's a big spring that is among the purest in the world.
Yep.
Okay, that has become my standard to bring other water up to that level.
It's a good one.
Yeah, so what we're going to do, we are going to thank the spirit of water to come into the water. And now we're going to thank the spirit of what I call the Montana spring water to come into the water that's flowing in the pipe into your house with its good taste, surface tension, energy, and purity. But all water that flows through the pipe into your house will be equal to the Montana spring water. Now, how far away would you have to go to get a drink of water right now?
Just the
close
same.
by? Or,
yeah, it's right by. Yeah,
all right,
it's just
turn the water on, let it run 10 seconds, get some in a glass, and come back and sit down so we can see you.
I'll be right back. You can talk to Mike.
All right, go ahead, Mike. What are we going to talk about in the meantime?
Well, one thing I wanted to know, basically we're talking about dowsing. Does it matter what tool you're using for dowsing?
No, I use a bullet because I like bullets.
Okay.
And some people don't. I say, well, then use something else.
Okay.
And don't get suckered into buying
yeah.
a pendulum that costs a few $100s because all it is, it's just a scam. You can tie a nut on a string and get just as good information as you can with a $300 gold-plated diamond-tip pendulum. So don't waste your money on something like that. I use bullets just because I like bullets. Not only that, you go to a restaurant and you pull out a bullet to energize the food, everybody backs up and gives you plenty of room.
Raymond, I want you to see Michael's face because this water tastes so smooth and so wonderful. You got to try that.
Oh, wow, yeah. It normally tastes like, well, she said it tastes like pee, but it mostly tastes like that chlorine and chemicals, but I don't taste it now.
It's sweet.
There's not any in there.
Yeah, it's better now. It's really good.
It's very smooth.
We're normally been getting bottles and stuff because we just don't like I don't know if there's stuff in the water, but it doesn't taste good.
We'll save you money now.
This is wonderful.
Thank you, Ray. Yeah, it tastes good.
It's wonderful.
It tastes really good.
Glad to help.
Thank you, man.
Raymond, can you check the energy of the people that watch our show?
What are you going to do if I don't get a good reading?
It's fine. I'm just curious.
It's all right. You know about, well, I don't need to know how many. The overall, that's pretty good. 22,000.
I had
Now,
a
that
feeling.
won't mean anything to anybody else, but it does to me. That is the energy of what I would call pretty decent people. They're not possessed. They don't have a fragmented soul. And their brain is spinning clockwise. Now, that's the fact that they're 22,000 average, that it tells me those three things right there. Because if they had any of those three things affecting them, they would have had a much lower energy, probably zero. Now, that is average. You may have one or two people with the problem, but that is your average of the people that watch your shows.
That's amazing. I had a feeling.
People that watch. I want to congratulate you on something. I saw just briefly a video you sent me about how you'd stopped watching horror movies. I really.
Oh, you saw it? Thank you.
Yeah. See, I want to give you my opinion on it. I don't watch TV. Why? Because, well, I don't listen to news because I figure they're lying to me. And Thomas Jefferson said it is better to be uninformed than misinformed. So that's why I don't watch TV. Besides that, I don't have time. And not only that, I'm really not that interested in it. But just seeing 2-3 minutes every now and then of a TV, it seems like people are always fighting one another instead of getting along. I mean, Andy Griffith of Mayberry is probably the only decent one left. So if you watch people fight, it affects your body. If you hear them screaming at one another and so on, and I'm thinking, why the hell would anybody want to sit and look at a screen of people fighting and arguing?
Yeah.
I mean, I can go look at a tree. I can watch the water run over rocks. I can go pet a dog. I can do all kinds of things instead of watch a bunch of idiots fight.
Yeah.
So I don't watch TV.
Yeah.
I associate only with people that can think.
Yeah.
Because I'm very particular who I talk to, and I don't make any apologies whatever for it. I don't want to be rude to them, but
no.
I'll just say, I got to go now.
Yeah.
And get out of the conversation, because I've got this attitude that if it doesn't solve problems for humanity, it doesn't improve your health, and it don't pay any money, I'm not interested in it.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense, and more people should think like that. They would be happier.
That's just the way I think. But then again, I'm a hermit, so most people are hermits, so that makes me different, I guess. But I've always been that way. But I spend my time doing something constructive from the time I get up until the time I go to bed.
Really?
And sometimes it's nothing more than making a phone call to somebody to cheer them up.
Yeah.
It's if I can't help someone, I don't want to talk to them.
Yeah.
Another thing, I won't listen very much. If people want to bitch, whine, and complain, I just simply won't listen. A lot of times, people will want a session. I do a lot of Skype sessions.
Okay.
And I'll always say, tell me in one sentence, how can I help you? Well, I went to the doctor back on the 14th of July of 93. Hold, stop right there. You got one more? Tell me in one sentence how I can help you. If you can't do that, hang your phone up.
Holy man.
Blunt, yes. Effective, yes.
I'm sure it helps people get to the point.
Yeah, either get to the point or don't try to talk to me.
Yeah.
Have you ever have you run into what we call askals a lot? Like people that just ask questions to ask, but they're not really looking for solutions?
I won't talk to them.
Okay. Makes sense.
I have a choice. Time is very valuable to me.
Yeah.
I felt you reach people. You seem like decent folk. I'll talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. But for somebody that just wants to ask endless questions, I don't talk to them.
Yeah.
Raymond, do you find that people who go to your classes are pretty energy sensitive to begin with?
Overall, yes. Yes. Not all of them now, but I would say the majority are. And they are looking for something that they don't have. And I do my best to give it to them. I mean, my classes are excessively blunt. You might not realize it, but I've been on my best behavior talking to you two people.
Why is that, Raymond? Why is that?
Why? Well, I wanted to give you a good video to put out there.
Thank you.
And then again, you have been polite, you have been sensible, you've asked logical questions, so it was easy to do.
Yeah.
You folks are easy to be nice to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we just want to why we started the show is with the intention to exposing people to ideas and expanding their awareness, pretty much to wake people up, like you said. So that's always we relate to what you mean by just like spend your time doing something productive into making this world a better place. Because a lot of people are just they're like bots. They're not even
like they're robotic. There's so many robotic people we see.
Well, yeah, that's true. But that's because of their lifestyle, of what they do at work. They're kind of programmed to do the same thing.
Yeah.
That's why I admire farmers. You can be an idiot and be a politician. That's been proven many times.
Yeah.
You can't be an idiot and be a farmer. You get starved to death. Farmers have to make decisions based on weather, economics, and a whole lot of other things. I mean, there are no idiot farmers. There really aren't. They've already got out of the business. So I have a saying: it's bad manners to cuss a farmer with your mouth full.
Yeah.
I like that saying.
That's true.
I like that saying.
So, but the people that live in an artificial environment, they really can't help it. I don't want to beat these people down. I have a lot of them for clients. I try to pick them up. But they don't have an option to just get out in nature and wade the creek or walk in the woods or whatever. They just don't have this opportunity. And it's really not their fault, I guess. But I think that people that spend time in nature are a lot more sane, they're more rational, and they're just more in control of their life.
That makes sense.
That makes total sense.
But here again, not everybody can do that. So, I don't have a solution to that. Not everybody can be a hermit, or nor do they want to. So I try to help people from where they are at the time.
Right.
And it's a whole lot different working with a cattle rancher than it is with somebody that sits at a computer all day or works on Wall Street in New York. I mean, totally different. So what you do, each person has got their own type of problem. So you do your best to be kind to them and help them with whatever they need. And sometimes I got answers, sometimes I don't. I don't ever claim to have all the answers, because I know I don't have. But, I try to think outside the box and find things, help people get along. I found a number of things that work pretty good. The only thing that I know that is universally true for everyone is the law of gravity. Everything else has exceptions.
Yeah.
That's
But
so
if you
true.
don't do anything, nothing gets done. That's what you said.
Right. Do nothing, nothing's going to happen. Do
Yeah.
something might happen.
Yeah, I like that. Well, Raymond, we're in the hour now. It's been an honor to have you here. We do have a person that we told you before that she wants to pop on and just say hi to you and say thank you
Sure.
for
Go ahead.
what you helped
That's
her.
fine.
But thank you so much for the info.
Raymond, I love you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, well, thanks for the opportunity to talk to you folks and to your audience out there.
Awesome. Let me go ahead and bring her in. There she is.
It's Karen Goldingham
Hi.
from New Zealand.
Okay.
Hi, Karen.
Karen.
You probably don't recognize.
Okay. Oh, now I can see you. Yeah. Tell me what you want to tell me.
Well, first of all, I want to say, because I never got to say thank you, and I'll try and speak slowly because I know that you have issues understanding my Kiwi accent. So if Raymond can't understand me, you two might have to convert the words for him.
Sure.
Anyway, thank you for saving my life. You've done it at least twice now. One time, it was maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and I was in a session with Ed Stracker, and there was a group of us there, and we all got to speak to you and say something to you. And when I spoke to you and told you a little bit about what I was going through, you tuned in and you said that the evil that I had on me or around me was one of the heaviest, evilest energies around. And you also gave me some very good advice, which I've taken on board, and I give thanks and gratitude to you every day, ever since. So.
Well, okay, now, I'm not understanding you. It's sort of like there's an echo, so I'm not getting everything you're saying. Where did you and I meet?
She was in a healing group with Ed Stracher, a healer.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm very thankful to be of help to you.
Yes, and there was another time as well. You gave me some very good advice. I won't go into it on here, but I with that advice too, that got me through what I was going through. So I want to say I love you, unconditionally. I love you, and I thank you for what you've done for me and my journey in this lifetime.
Well, you've made my whole evening this evening, so thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Thank you, Karen. You're wonderful. Raymond, we love you. You've touched our hearts and our souls.
Well, I'm just happy to talk to you, so I appreciate the invitation, and let me know about any feedback you get.
I absolutely will.
Yes, we'll email you about it. So is that the only way we can communicate with you, through email?
No, you can call me.
Okay.
I guess I won't. Let's see.
I won't share with anybody else.
I'll email you my phone number, but or we can do Skype. Yeah, but let's try Skype. My Skype name is Raymond Grace, Raymon, no D.
That's it?
Raymon, yeah. Okay. Just send me a Skype request, and I will accept, and then we can set up a time to talk if you'd like to do that.
Sure.
Sounds good, Raymond. Well, Karen, thank you for popping in. Go ahead.
Or you can send me a Zoom link.
Oh, Zoom,
yeah,
Zoom works
yeah.
too? Okay, we can hang out on Zoom, no worries.
Raymond, in closing, is there anything you want to express to people? Is there any message that's close to your heart?
You can do an awful lot if you didn't think you couldn't.
Oh,
So our minds get in the way.
that's a great message. I will take that and live by that.
Well, that's the first time I've said it that way, but I had to say something. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Raymond, it's perfect.
I like the bumblebee analogy. That was pretty
Yeah.
good.
It's worked for me. Okay, well,
Okay,
you folks have
thank
a
you
good
guys.
evening, and
Thank you so much.
All right,
good to
Karen.
be with you.
Karen, thank you for popping in.
Thank you, Karen.
Bye, Raymond.
Thank you.
Bye, Raymond.